Hello and welcome to Coffee Break Harp. My name is Zuzanna, I am a harpist and a harp teacher, and today I will be sharing with you a lesson on rolled chords, also known as spread chords. If you've been with me for a while, you may remember me talking about this before in one of the live harp lessons. As this turned out to be a very popular topic, I have decided to talk about this a little bit more in this new video. If you'd like to know more about spread chords, you've come to the right place. A chord is any group of notes that are played together. Some of the most popular include three-finger chords, such as for example C-E-G, which is also known as a C major chord. It sounds like this. The way I played it just now, with all three notes of the chord sounding together, is known as playing it straight, or as a block chord. Another way of playing is to go for a rolled, also known as spread chord, with the bottom note first and all other notes coming one after another, like this. You can choose the speed of your spread. You can go for a quick spread where the notes are coming fast one after another, or you can go for a slower spread where they come at a more relaxed pace and we're taking a bit more time between each note. Whatever is the speed of your spread, you want to make sure that you've got good control of your fingers, for two reasons. One is making sure that you've got even speed throughout your chord, so that the amount of time you spend between each of the notes is the same. This will be especially important when you will be playing bigger chords, which will involve both hands. And the reason number two is that you want to make sure that all notes are sounding at the same volume. So today we're going to have a look at how to practice the chords to make sure that you get a nice even spread and that we get to hear all the notes in your chords. When practicing chords, I recommend that you start from playing them straight. And again, there are two reasons for that. One is that with chords played straight, you will find it much easier to keep your playing rhythmic. Spread chords, depending how you choose to spread them, will require that you either start to play a little bit before the beat or carry on playing a bit after the beat. If you're just starting out and learning a new piece, you may not know the music very well, and this can be a little bit confusing when you try to play in rhythm. So while you're still learning the notes, it's best to keep your chords straight. The other reason to start with straight chords is that you want to make sure that all fingers get placed together. You don't want to end up in a situation where you're already playing the bottom note of the chord and your thumb still isn't placed on the top note. Now, there is one exception from this rule, and that is when you're facing really big chords and playing them straight would mean big stretch for your hands and perhaps some extra tension. By big chords, I mean definitely anything that stretches over an octave, for example a chord like C, G, C, E. With chords like this one, it's usually better to spread them to avoid extra tension and possibly injury. If you've got smaller hands, like me, you may also want to ignore the other rule about placing all notes of a chord and only start with the bottom notes placed first, and after playing the first note, adding the remaining ones at the top. But when you're still quite new to playing chords, I recommend that you start with smaller ones and play them straight, like for example a C major chord played with three fingers on notes C, E, G. Before you move on to spreading chords, make sure you've got good control of your fingers. You will find some great exercises for this in the first harp book by Betty Parrett. In these exercises, you're placing all three notes of the chord and practice plucking one finger while holding on to the other two. So you start with your third finger on C, second finger on E and thumb on G. You first pluck the third finger C, only that one finger, while holding on to the others. Here, lifting your elbow slightly will help you make sure that the third finger closes nicely. The point is not to play as quickly as you can, but to relax after every note and to listen that they all sound at the same volume. So take as much time as you need when playing each finger. Once you're done with the third finger, you can put it back and move on to playing the second finger. finally, you play the thumb. The example used here is a C major chord with notes C, E, G, but you can use this exercise on all other chords and shapes. In the description of this video you will find a PDF with a combination of various shapes and chords that you can use in your practice, so you can pick a different one every time you work on this exercise. Before you move on to spreading your chords, you want to make sure that your fingers can find them all easily in the piece. For that, you want to practice placing your fingers in advance, by playing slow but placing fast. For example, if you're supposed to play chords C and F with notes C, E, G, F, A, C, you want to teach your fingers to find them easily. While you're on your C major chord, the C, E, G, you're already looking ahead to where you want to be next on your notes F, A, C. Then you move quickly and place your fingers on F, A, C, and before you play, you check that you've got the correct notes, and if you do, you can now play. Repeat and practice the journey that you need to make to that next chord, and challenge yourself to see if you can get there faster every time. Remember, you're working on increasing the speed with which you move there and place, not the playing speed. With time, of course, you will be able to play them faster, but without being able to place quickly, it will be very hard to get them to play fast. So make sure you practice placing fast, straight chords first, before moving on. Now, your hands know their root on the strings well, and you're also in control of each of your fingers, so you've got a green light to start spreading the chords. The best way to practice is starting with really slow spreads and gradually speeding them up. I like to play with adding some rhythm to my spreads, as this gives a nice structure to what I'm doing. So I would put my metronome on a crotchet equal 60, for example, and start with playing minims, also known as half notes first, so I am playing on every other beat of the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I would play crotchets, also known as quarter notes, so playing on each beat of the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I'm going to go twice as fast and play quavers. So I could count myself in by saying 1 and 2 and play like this. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2. Playing triplets right after quavers might be tricky, but it's worth giving them a go too. Some metronomes will give you the option to subdivide the beat so you can find the right speed more easily. If I haven't got that option, I would keep the beat on 60 and count myself in like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you've only got chords to play in one hand and find the triplets rhythm a bit tricky, you can get the other hand to help you with the rhythm by playing one more note at the top, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Finally, I will play semi-quavers or 16 notes. So if I am counting myself in, I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I've got more chords to play in a piece, I would go through all of them like this. And after you're done with that, you can have another go at all these rhythms and bring the metronome speed up a notch. Even if you haven't got many chords in a piece, this is a really nice exercise to do as your warm-up. You can use the chords that I'm sharing in this lesson's PDF as an inspiration and do as many or as few as you want during your warm-up. Follow the link in the description of this lesson to download your exercises. I hope that you found this episode useful. Let me know which pieces with chords are you working on at the moment and which of these exercises have you tried. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you and to seeing you here again for another episode of the Coffee Break Harp. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified when a new episode is out. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.